is our Freedom family. We have a very special guest on for you today. And the topic is going from 12-hour days to 12-hour weeks. And this is a big one. I really loved this, Jess. Like, this is incredible. Jess, I'm going to get Jess to share more around her story. We would love to know if you're watching live, drop in the comments, or if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, or if you're listening to us, make sure you comment on the podcast. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We love to connect. And so we're going to talk a little bit today around that topic, you know, going from the 12-hour days to 12-hour weeks. And so, Jess, babe, would absolutely love for you just to get straight into it. You're going to share more about your story, of course, a lot better than what I can. You know, your story is your story. So please fire away, tell us more about you and who you are, and share away.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's always good to share what's possible and empower each other, and really just full permission to see what life's all about and enjoy the journey. So my background is 22 years in health and wellness. So I actually started teaching group fitness when I was 16 years old, and just evolved through to personal training, becoming a nutritionist, working in recreation, managing recreation centres, and building our own business. So I've been in the health space and coaching for around 22 years, and it's been amazing. I've been able to work with some incredible people. But as I titled today's session, you know, when you're doing a lot of the things and you're working through your goals and you're sort of just going through the motions, suddenly it all just adds up, and suddenly you're spending 12 hours a day in your job. And I'm a mother of two, and my husband, he's still my husband, but he was away doing forest firefighting. So he was working away pretty much for 6 months at a time. So from October to March, April, we couldn't really depend on him to be home. He would be deployed for 7 to 10 days while I was running our business and raising our girls. And I just knew that it wasn't how I wanted to be living our life. It wasn't the picture of raising our family the way that I had pictured it unfolding for us. And we were spending so much time working and so much time giving so much to everybody else, but our own health was starting to suffer. And I just remember thinking, this is not sustainable. You know, we can't keep doing this till we're 60, 65. We need to come up with another way. And we really wanted to just be free to be able to explore everything that was possible for life. And I was, you know, working in the mornings, dropping the kids off at school, teaching during the day, health consults, giving the kids dinner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because I had to go back at work at 5:30, 6 o'clock to teach classes, putting the kids to bed, and then going into the studio to run evening sessions. Like it was full on. And 10 o'clock at night, mapping out the class programs for the next day, and being in the coaching space. Like, you are working with your existing clients and you're already looking for ways to bring in new clients because you are trading your time for money. So there was a lot to navigate and a lot of energy. I was super passionate about health and wellness, but, you know, I started to question, well, how can I be so happy and passionate about wellness for other people when my own health was starting to suffer? I wasn't, you know, looking after myself. So for me, that was like a line in the sand moment of needing to come up with a better way.
Yeah. I really love that, Jess. And it's a big point, and like of making sure, like, so many times we want to care for other people, especially like for those mums watching, like drop mum below if you're a mum, or maybe you're a fur mum like me, a cat mum, to be mum, like put that below as well. But so many times we want to give so much, right? And from what I'm hearing from you, give. And it's like, where's the receptivity? Like, where are you able to fit in the 5 minutes, you know, for yourself? And again, that 5 minutes every day, like, it's going to be helpful, yes, but is it sustainable? No. You know, if you're like doing a meditation or whatever that is. So I what you're saying really resonates. I'm not even a mum, and I have come from a hustle background, you know, even working 3 jobs when I was in year 12 to, you know, getting my car, and it was amazing. It taught me so much. However, it's just like all of this hustle mentality, how is that even really sustainable? And especially in this day and age, we don't need to work like that. We've got the incredible space of the online space that we're in as well. So what you're saying is just really incredible. And then obviously also to be at your own cost of your health, that's a biggie for a lot of coaches. I've also been there with my own personal journey too. And so even for the coaches listening or watching, like this is a big point, and it's a really great check-in for you of like, okay, where are you at with your own health and wellness? Like how are you managing that for yourself? And so I really love that, Jess. Thank you. And I would love for you just to touch on a little bit of that, going from, I guess, the hustle mentality, because we're going from this 12-hour work days to then the 12-hour weeks. Even for me personally, it's, you know, it's a process to get out of that hustle mentality. I'd love for you to share on maybe some tips, or what would you recommend, or just touching on that hustle mentality process, moving to a, I guess, abundant, non-hustle, more flow receptivity mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really powerful season. I mean, I was kind of forced into it with lockdowns. So our studio got closed down in 2020, and straight away, as soon as our studio got closed down, I was like, all right, I'm going to put all that time and attention into me, and I'm going to get really, really healthy again. Don't need to be anywhere, don't need to do anything. And I realized within a few weeks of lockdowns in March 2020 that I actually had adrenal burnout. And the more I tried to push myself into getting healthy, the more tired and run down I actually got. And so that for me was a really good opportunity to pivot and go, okay, well, I'm going to nourish myself. I'm going to shift this mindset of always having to be productive, always having to do something, always having to achieve something. And I'm going to start to think, okay, well, everything I've known up until this point has led me to the place that I'm in right now. Yeah. And I don't want to continue to live like this. So what do I need to change? And I had invested in a course, NLP and transformation therapy. And I spent a bit of time reconnecting back in with my values and what was really important to me around the life that I was living, health and family and freedom to choose and all this sort of thing. And I started to really look at my life, at where I was living in alignment with those values and where I was being distracted or pulled away from them, and just becoming a more yes, no person around what I was giving energy to. And there's so much value in understanding hard work. And I was definitely brought up with the belief that we work hard for what we want. And I still believe that there's credibility and there's truth in that statement. However, I now believe that we get to get where we want to go in life without the hustle. I think we get to be intentional, we get to be purposeful with our actions, but we get to let go of all the other things we think we should be doing, and we simply just get to do the things that move us closer to our goals and look after ourselves. And I think for me, growing a six-figure business in the online space, which is what I've been able to do over the last year, is in my diary, my self-care practices, my nurturing practices, my appointments, whether they're a brunch with the girlfriends or a massage or whatever it might be, they go in the diary before any of my other appointments. And they're treated the same way as interviews, as mentorships, as training calls, as all of the other things, so that there's a harmony between what's going out of my energy and what's coming back in. My energy. And it's been a really big shift for me, because I am a giver and I will do whatever I can to help somebody achieve their goals and to really see them thrive. But when I had the realization that I can thrive and overflow into the world and give people the overflow rather than give them what little I have, that's more powerful and that's more potent than trying to scrape by and trying to do the good thing all the time by other people, because we are holding our world together. And if we're not well, if we're not okay mentally, if we're not in a position where we feel like we can cope with what's going on in our world, we can't really be of service to other people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff in my world, like my husband's PTSD with the forest firefighting and homeschooling our girls for the last 3 years. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, and I'm holding it together. So if I'm not looking after myself, then, there's no one else going to come in and take care of it. So yeah, realigning back to my values. So really spending some time with yourself, figuring out what it is that you are a stand for, figuring out what you really believe in your life, what you're worthy of, what you're deserving of, best health, abundance in all areas, community, and then giving yourself places in your life where you get to move closer to that, and just saying no to the things that are draining you, and prioritize your self-care the same way that you would if you were running appointments and putting meetings in your calendar. Make sure that there's space for everything else as well.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. I'm like, this, for you listening, go back and re-listen to this maybe 1,000 times, especially for us women. I can talk because I am a woman, right? Especially for us women, we do give a lot and we do hold a lot, right? We're very powerful. Mother Earth, it's very much like that. And so I really loved how you're talking about the self-care and the holding and the giving, and just even, I really love what you said around working like with purpose and working, like realigning your values. Like that's really key here. So if you don't know what your values are, also reach out or feel free to comment below, and us and Jess can help you out with that too. The hustle mentality, if we're working in a job that we don't like, or we're working in something that we just not enjoying, then what's the point, right? And so I love what you're talking about there as well, because I can totally agree. Like I work hard because I love what we do online. I love the affiliate market space, and I love that part of me. It's just back then, I know as a hard worker, I was also working really hard in a job that I just didn't really enjoy, and I was dreaming about every day of other things and the freedom of choice and that kind of stuff. So really, really incredible stuff. I really love that now, Jess. Thank you for sharing. And so just for a little bit of an insight of maybe where you are now, going from those 12-hour days to where Jess is now, a little bit around your family, if you want to share too, that would be amazing. And we were just talking about it before we started this. I saw that you were I think you made 5K, just dropped into your bank account, and you were on the beach, abundance, water, right? But you were on the beach and you were just doing your thing and just having a beautiful day. So do you want to just touch on a little bit of, I know you reached a pinnacle position in our business. So again, congratulations, which is incredible. Yeah. Do you want to just share a little bit about obviously where you are now and what you get to do now?
Yeah, absolutely. It was really important to me to stay within the health space, because it is an area that I'm super passionate about, and especially with women, being able to help women build up their self-worth, their self-confidence, because we do hold so much, and we do have we're not meant to be here as equals to men, but we have a message, and we have a role to play in this world that is about nurturing and nourishment and bringing people together in community. And we can do that well when we are well. And so I really loved when I came across this opportunity and the affiliation with global health, global wellness, water equals life. And it was really powerful for me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, that's the way that I get to do this. And I actually saw the business. I stayed up till 1 a.m. in the morning watching a video about the business, and my husband, he was deployed the next day to forest fire. And I'm sure some people listening will remember Black Summer. We were in Victoria at the time, so we actually had 4 months of fire. My husband did 120 days of fire deployment. And the next morning after I'd watched this video, he was packing his deployment bag to go away for 7 days. And I remember looking at him and I just said, don't worry, I've got a plan and I'm going to retire you. And he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. He wasn't even on his radar. We never spoke about the business. I just said, no, I can see this now and I've got a plan. So just trust me. So he went away and I was ready to get started in the business, but we had to evacuate 4 times and there was a lot going on. So I ended up delaying my business launch until the following March, which is when lockdowns hit. So it was all kind of happening.
Gosh.
And it just goes to show, right, there's no perfect time. We just get to go for it and we just get to, it unfolds in the journey as it's meant to.
Yeah.
And so we started doing it together and we started supporting each other. He's in health and wellness outside of his firefighting. He is a Bowen therapist. And we just started figuring it out as we went along. We got some mentorship and we had our first 10K month within 4 months of starting the business. We started to build an amazing team across Australia. And we just kept it really simple. Like, we understood early on that our business was us, and it was us that got to lead, with what we wanted out of life and inspire other people that wanted more time for themselves, more time for their family, more freedom to choose how their day unfolded instead of being stuck in a rut or caught in the rat race of, the hamster wheel, so to speak, of doing all the things we think we should be doing, but never really feeling fulfilled by it.
Yeah.
So we just went through, we were coachable, we figured it out. We started making the money. He hasn't gone back to work in any capacity since 2020.
Wow.
So we were able to keep him home.
Yeah.
And an average day, I probably do an hour to 2 hours a day of work, but work is relationships. I get to talk to people. I get to do interviews like this, conversations with people who want more out of life, and just sharing what's possible. So it's not really work. It's empowerment, it's connection, it's relationships. It's what life gets to be like. It's what we're made for. Like, we are made for community. We're made for simplifying everything and just getting right back to the core roots of feeling really good, having resources to leverage, and having people around us that we get to grow with. And so on an average day, working full time in the online space for me is around 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So
wow.
we put a 4K check in the bank today, and had brunch with some friends and went to the beach, and we'll probably jump in the pool and have family pizza and movie night tonight.
Oh, Jess,
Friday.
That's so beautiful. I was like, wait, what day is it? Friday. Yeah, that sounds like it. I remember that back in the day for me with family. So, wow, that's so amazing. And I just want to congratulate you again, because even just like that commitment of, like, when you told your hubby, like, it's okay, I've got this, I've got something, and he just trusted you, and you trusted yourself, and you trusted the process. I feel like it's really about trusting that process. And sometimes you have to believe in others' belief in yourself before you believe in you. And like Jess said, there's no right time, whether you're thinking about the affiliation marketing space is the same as us, or you're just thinking about doing some kind of change in your life. There's no time like the present. All you've got is the present moment. There's so much going on in the world at the moment, as I'm sure most of us are aware. And so being really grateful for what we do have, and then really being really crystal clear with your values and where you're going and what you want to create. We're so lucky. I feel like I'm so grateful to be able to have that freedom here in Australia and be able to do what we do. And especially us, Jess, have just been able to help inspire and empower other people. So I really appreciate that. Just before you go, I would love for, if you've got like one takeaway for that woman or that man or that business owner or that the 12-hour day person who's working their butt off, maybe feeling frustrated, what is that one tip that you would give them or recommend to them to create change or cultivate, or just one tip that you would really recommend for them?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, but I think the biggest thing is just to get curious around what's possible. And I remember being first introduced to this space, and I just think, if they can do it, you can do it. And this is why, people get to change their lives, because they get curious. So it doesn't cost you anything to ask questions. It doesn't cost you anything to see what's possible, to get on a clarity call and just go through all the scenarios. And it could be the best decision of your life to actually open up your mindset of what is possible in today's society. Like, sure, 20, 30 years ago, we didn't have the online space we have, or the way that the world can operate right now, but there is so much possible outside of the traditional way of thinking and traditional way of working.
Yep.
And I think for me, when I realized that, sort of looking at the people that I was surrounded with and looking at people within my industry, you know, even those that were in leadership roles and management roles, they still didn't have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have mattered if I worked my way up and up and up and up. Like I was already in management, but you couldn't ever get your time back. And so I got curious around what was possible by leveraging what was in the online space. And that's where the power is. And that's where you get your time back. That's where you get your life back. That's where you start to be able to create additional income without having to put in additional hours. So to go from a 12-hour work day to a 12-hour work week, like it's absolutely amazing, and it's totally possible. Like I was in the traditional system, qualified as a nutritionist, running my own business, and it's amazing, and I loved all of that, and I still work in that industry. But because I was curious enough to go, okay, well, this isn't exactly how I pictured my life, what can I do about it? And everything changed. So just get really curious.
Yeah, curiosity is key. Like curiosity just creates so much more opportunities in your life. So it's just epic. My gosh, thank you so much for sharing with us. If this resonated with you and you're like, wow, I can relate, drop water below, or if you're interested in working in the online space as well, make sure you reach out to Jess or myself or Kristen. We're so honored to have you on, Jess, and really appreciate you taking the time with us today. And we definitely will have you back for sure. You had so many golden nuggets, and then you'll be at another level within, you know, your business, and it'll be incredible because you'll have even more wisdom there too. So much love, guys. Make sure you comment below, like any takeaways, anything that came up for you. Know we're always here to reach out. Jess is also there too. So yeah, make sure you go and check out Jess and see what she's up to, her and her family. But yeah, thank you so much, Jess, for joining us. We appreciate your time. I'm going to stop the live there. Amazing.